Hello dear students, this is Hasina Islam, lecturer, Department of English, Tonki Government College, Gazipur. My today's lecture is for the students of Honors 4th year. In my previous lecture, I have started Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. In my previous lecture, I have discussed on various characters, and today I will give you a short summary of this novella, and I also want to give you some information regarding the writer. Actually, Joseph Conrad, his father was a poet, a writer, and a politician. His mother also a politician, and that's why uh, as a result of his parents' political participation, his family was forced into exile in northern Russia. In the next 5 years, Conrad was 11. Both his parents died. At 16, he took up life on the sea. At 20, he joined a British ship. A trip to the Belgian Congo in 1890, during which Conrad sailed the Congo River, was crucial to the development of the work Heart of Darkness. So, the story of this novella is taken from his real life. That is, it may be a autobiography. It may be considered as an autobiography. Yes. So this was the experience, and in this novella, he discussed his own experience. So the story of Heart of Darkness starts with the narrator's description of a story that is on a British ship called the Name. Three men listened to a story narrated by the storyteller named Marlowe, who recounted his journey into Africa as an agent for the company. That is, he was employed as an agent for the company, a Belgian ivory trading firm. So, what was the work of this firm? They went to Congo to collect ivory. So, it was their work, and Marlowe here relates to his fellow seafarers from Thames to another river, the Congo River in Africa. They were waiting on a boat, on a ship, for favorable wind on the Thames, and he started his story, which took place in another river called Congo River in Africa. Okay, so there, what happened there? There, the company, an unnamed organization running a colonial enterprise in the Belgian Congo, appoints him captain of a river steamer. He was appointed as a captain of a river steamer. He sets out for Africa, optimistic of what he will find. But the experience he found there, it was totally, horrible, because in the name of civilization, they only exposed the colonial part. Actually, it was a picture of imperialism. In the name of civilization, they only uh, exposed their cruelty on the natives, and so they tortured the native to collect ivory. The inhuman torture, the picture of this inhuman torture has been exposed by the writer here. How they were tortured. I would like to show you a picture here. Just look at this picture. Okay, so what is the picture about? The torture on the natives. Actually, to collect ivory, they imposed inhuman activities on these natives. So this is the main theme that the writer tried to expose here. Okay, so what happened then? But Marlowe, the narrator, his expectations are quickly soured on seeing this picture. Okay, so from the moment he arrives, he is exposed to the evil of imperialism. He only found the evil of imperialism there, and the violence inflicts upon the African people. It exploits. Actually, it was a robbery. Okay, they were exploiting the people there. The native inhabitants of the region have been forced into the company's service, and they suffer terribly from overwork and ill treatment at the hands of the company's agents. Okay, so Marlowe arrives at the central station run by the general manager, and unwholesome conspirator. Actually, he is a conspirator and a mischievous man character, character. He finds that his steamship was has been sunk and spent several months waiting for parts to repair it. Okay, so for to repair the steamship, he had to stay there for some months. Okay, the manager and his favorite, the brick maker, seemed to fear Mr. Kurtz as a threat to their position. They thought that this man, Mr. Kurtz, become the threat of their position. Okay, so the manager, that is, he was actually a mischievous man, and he started plotting against this man called Mr. Kurtz. Okay, so overhearing a conversation between the manager and his uncle, Marlowe learns that the manager fears that Mr. Kurtz is too strong competitor for him. Then Marlowe's steamer, however, finally gets fixed, and and his party start heading up to the inner station. They started their journey to inner station. Nearing the station, in a heavy fog, the ship is attacked from the shore by arrows. That is, at that time they were near the shore, and due to the fog they were standing there, and at that time they were attacked. And Marlowe imagines that he will not be able to meet this mysterious man called Mr. Kurtz. But they finally he reached in the inner station. Okay, they reach in the inner station. They are welcomed by a old Russian man. Was his dress up was very odd looking, and odd looking man, and who is a sort of disciple of Mr. Kurtz. Okay, he was like a disciple of Mr. Kurtz. Okay, so here our writer, our narrator Marlowe meets Mr. Kurtz, this mysterious person. So Mr. Kurtz actually here, was a demigod for these natives. Okay, so I'm going to show you another picture, the brutality of, to show the brutality of this person. Okay, just look at this. What are you seeing here? Some heads are stuck in a stack in front of the house. So actually it is the brutality of the British agent. Okay, they, in the name of civilization, they were only exposed, they were exposing their dark part of soul. Okay, this is the dark part of their soul, because though they told that they want to give them the light of civilization, but they only exposed the dark part of their soul. Okay, so the people here, they worship Mr. Kurtz, and the inner station is a terrifying monument to Kurt's power. The full extent of Kurt's authority at the inner station is now revealed to Marlowe. He found that how strong and how cruel this man, this that is Mr. Kurtz. Actually, there are heads of rebels on stakes or surrounding Kurt's heart, and Marlowe speaks of Kurt's presiding over unspeakable rituals, some unspeakable rituals. When Kurtz is carried out to meet to the ship, by this time he is very ill with, that is, he was very ill at that time. He commands the crowd to allow him to be taken without any incident. As they wait out the night on board the steamer, the people of the inner station build fires and pound drums in whistle. Late the Late that night, Marlowe wakes up to find Kurtz gone. He goes ashore to find him. When he tracks him down, he could find out Mr. Kurtz. At that time, Mr. Kurtz is crawling through the brush, trying to return to the station. He was very ill, and he was trying to return to the station. To the you know to He was tried to come to the inner station. Marlowe pursues him to return to the ship. When the ship leaves the next day with the actually Mr. Kurtz on board, the crowd gathers at the shore and wails in desperate sadness. Actually, he became the demigod there. They actually worshipped, they started worshipping Mr. Kurtz. Okay, so on the return into the central station, Mr. Kurt's health worsens. And then what happens? When Marlowe returns to, then he was, his condition was become his condition becoming worsen, and he have he was very ill, and at that time he uttered his last word, that is, in his dead bed he uttered his last word. What was the last word? The horror, the horror, the horror. Why he actually uttered these words? He could realize the darkness, the execution, the cruelty of his life. That's why he uttered these words. Okay, so when Marlowe returns to Belgium, he goes to see Mr. Kurt's fiancée and his intern. She speaks with him and about Mr. Kurt's gentleness. She praises about Mr. Kurtz, and Marlowe also tells her that he was a very gentleman, and he all the time he carried out his duty properly. She speaks with Then she speaks with him about Mr. Kurt's gentleness, his genius, his ability to speak eloquently, and of his great plans for civilizing Africa. Marlowe decides not to disillusion her. He returns some of Kurt's things to her, some letters, and pamphlets he had written, and tells her that Mr. Kurt's last word was her name. Actually, what was the last word? His last word was the horror, the horror, the horror. But Marlowe, to console her, this lady, he told that he uttered his fiance's name. Okay, in this way, Marlowe consoled her. Okay, Marlowe's story ends and the scene returns to the anchored Nile. That is, this was a flashback. This story is like a flashback. And in this way, Marlowe ends his story. So, this is the short summary of Heart of Darkness. And in my next lecture, I will try to give you more information and analysis regarding this novella. Till then, everyone be safe. Allah Hafiz.